I never expected to see something so personal in the midst of the hustle and bustle of the entertainment world. I was just a small member of the production team, more precisely, a camera assistant who would often rearrange properties, help with the lighting crew, and occasionally deliver drinks to the actors. My position is not important, but precisely because of it I can see many things that may have gone unnoticed by the great people around us. That day, in between filming a big drama starring Zhang Linghe Zhao Jinmai, I saw something far beyond just a professional relationship. They made a promise. A simple promise on the surface, but full of meaning behind it. The promise happened during a break in filming, when the cameras were turned off, the crew relaxed, and the world seemed to stop spinning just to make room for two brave hearts talking in silence. And I, by chance or maybe by fate, became a silent witness of that moment. Busy filming locations. Filming locations are always full of bustle. The sound of equipment, the instructions of the director, the pacing makeup artists, as well as managers busy with their phones. Behind it all, however, there are always small spaces that feel quiet, where the actors sometimes step aside for a moment to take a breath. That day, we were filming an emotional scene on a set that resembled a traditional modern-style house. The scene between Zhang Linghe and Zhao Jinmai was quite heavy. The two had to display intense inner conflicts, confronting each other with emotions that were difficult to contain. I saw for myself how both act. It's amazing. Their eyes were so lifelike, as if they were really speaking from the heart, not just reading a script. However, what was even more surprising to me was when the camera stopped. They don't necessarily get rid of that energy. There was something left, something that could not be hidden even if they tried to laugh a little or joke with the rest of the crew. A smile that can't be covered. I looked at Zhang Linghe. The actor is known for his calm and mature disposition, although his age is not too far from Zhao Jinmai. There was a protective aura that naturally came out of him. And every time his eyes accidentally met Zhao Jinmai's, I could see how his smile just appeared. A small smile that couldn't be masked even though he tried to look professional. Meanwhile, Zhao Jinmai, with her youthful face full of energy, always brought cheerfulness to the set. But there was a difference when he was with Zhang Linghe. His laughter sounded more sincere, his smile was warmer, and his eyes seemed to emit a different light. I can feel it even from afar. I'm not the first to notice this. Some of the other crew also often joked about how the two looked so harmonious, even outside the scene. But for them it's just a joke. For me, it was more than a coincidence. Pause filming. That afternoon, after the emotional scene was over, the director decided to give an hour's pause. The big lights were partially turned off, the crew went out for fresh air or smoked, while some actors went to the dressing room. I was tidying up the property in the corner of the room when I realized something. Zhang Linghe and Zhao Jinmai didn't leave right away. They sat next to each other on long wooden chairs that were on the sides of the set. At first, I didn't want to look like I was eavesdropping, so I pretended to be busy with my little errand. But my ears couldn't resist picking up pieces of their voices. I always feel weird after a scene like this, Zhao Jinmai said softly, her voice almost exclusively to herself. Zhang Linghe turned his head, looking at her gently. Why? Because I don't know if his emotions still belong to his character or to mine alone, she replied with a bitter smile. I saw Linghe nod slowly. That's a sign you're really into your role. But it may also be a sign that you are too honest with your feelings. Zhao Jinmai chuckled a little, but his gaze lowered. There was a short pause, a meaningful silence. The promise between silence. Then, I saw something that made me stop breathing for a moment. Zhang Linghe lowered his head slightly, his voice almost whispering. If one day we get too immersed in all this, promise me, we'll still be honest with each other, no matter what. Zhao Jinmai was silent. He stared at Linghe's face for a long time, as if trying to read his intentions. Then slowly, he nodded. I promise. Instantly, the atmosphere around them changed. Time seemed to stop. They didn't touch, didn't do anything that could be considered superfluous. But the promise was, I know, stronger than just a handshake. It was a silent confession, something much deeper than it seemed. Become a silent witness. I wanted to look away, pretending I didn't know, but my eyes couldn't escape the sight. I knew I was witnessing something I shouldn't. A moment so personal. But at the same time, I felt touched. The world of entertainment is often full of falsehoods, full of made-up smiles and promises that are never kept. But what I saw before my eyes was something real. I knew they weren't aware of my presence in that corner. And I promised myself, I will never divulge this carelessly. But deep down, I knew I wanted to keep it as a story. The story of two young people who find something of value in the midst of a camera frenzy. After the promise, the following days, I noticed a small change in them. Nothing flashy, but I can feel it. They notice each other more often. The small glances that others usually ignore now have a new meaning for me. Every time they exchanged glances, I could see as if there were unspoken words that only the two of them understood. When Zhao Jinmai laughed, Zhang Linghe always looked a little more relaxed. When Zhang Linghe was exhausted, Zhao Jinmai always had a way of making him smile. It wasn't just chemistry for the camera. It was real, protected secrets. As a source, I am aware that this story may never be acknowledged by them. The outside world will probably only see them as professional colleagues. Even if gossip is circulating, they will probably brush it off with a smile or a diplomatic answer. But I know what I saw. I knew there was a promise between them, a promise spoken in the breaks of filming, when there was no script or camera to set them up. And to me, that's more valuable than anything. Write with memory. Tonight, I sat in my little room, writing all this down carefully. I wanted to keep this story, not for sale or for cheap gossip, but as a reminder that behind a world full of lights and audience applause, there is still little room for honesty, for genuine taste. I write from the perspective of a witness, a source who happened to be there. I write because I know someday, maybe people will want to know how their story began. And although I don't know how the promise ended, I'm sure that moment will always live on in their memory, and in mine as well. The promise left behind. Every time I go back to the set, I always think of that afternoon. On two people sitting next to each other in a wooden chair, talking to each other with their eyes and hearts, then making a simple promise. I don't know if that promise will lead them to love, friendship, or just memories. But I know one thing. It's real. And as a silent witness, I feel lucky.